Mayuri, I already talked to Kisuke. It's not the Hōgyokyu that went into Aizen. It's not either of them. It's another one.
Do you have any idea how insane that sounds? That sounds absolutely insane. It's not even possible. There can't be another Hōgyokyu. There was only two. There was the one that Aizen was working on, and there was the other one, and that was the one that belonged to Kisuke Urahara.
I don't know how it's possible, but somehow there's another Hōgyokyu. We have to go to the world of the living and find out how it happened now.
Don't you know what this means? This means someone else is making a Hōgyokyu.
Unfortunately, I cannot tell you what Hōgyokyu is made of, nor can I even tell you what it is precisely, or by what means it exists. The sum total of what we have learned about Hōgyokyu since it was first isolated in proper back in 1961 is a trivial amount of data compared with what we should know by now. What we do know, scientifically speaking, is only that it is capable of exerting its power upon the real world through some sort of process that has all of the hallmarks of either quantum entanglement or some as of yet unknown means of interaction. But beyond that, everything is utter speculation. Some early experiments with human beings interacting with it directly proved to be incredibly dangerous, since the outcomes were absolutely unpredictable and sometimes quite disturbing. One of the humans that interacted with it said it was just a shiny ball, cold and lifeless, and he held it no longer than a few seconds. Yet, when he got home, he found a very different situation than the one he had left that morning. He arrived home to find his wife cooking lunch for their two boys and humming a show tune. The problem is that the subject was a lifelong bachelor who had never married and could not have children because of a congenital defect. They are still together, and when DNA testing became available, the boys were both found to be fathered by the subject. This was the earliest known scientifically verifiable event caused by Hōgyokyu. Others don't have such a sweet ending. One subject, an extremely unhappy and depressed spinster in her late 40s, vanished within 10 seconds of holding it. And aside from our immediate records here, the rest of the world has no record of her ever having lived. Yet another subject held it, without informing us that they had just been in a heated argument with their landlord. Our records show that almost at the same exact time the subject touched Hōgyokyu, a frantic call was made by the wife of the landlord to the police, stating that her husband had just exploded all over the living room. Though the case is officially unsolved, the subject spent the remainder of their life in a mental asylum by voluntary commitment. For many practical reasons, we no longer allow anyone to have direct contact with Hōgyokyu. Still, this has not entirely rendered it inert. Within a certain distance, believed to be approximately 2.3 meters, it can still determine the deepest desires of those around it. However, its ability to effect changes in the real world based upon those desires has not been seen to have any such limits. We don't know why this discrepancy exists, but we are glad for it. As far as we can tell, 3 assumptions can be drawn. The first, Hōgyokyu grants, within limits, whatever is most desired by the heart of the beholder. 2. Hōgyokyu has a finite amount of energy at any given time, and cannot therefore be used continuously without giving it time to replenish itself. And the hardest assumption about Hōgyokyu that we experts have been forced to accept is the third, that Hōgyokyu, while not alive in the traditional sense of the word, fundamentally has its own will. It has, on occasion, for unknown reasons, decided to do nothing at all discernible for a small number of subjects. As of the last major policy update we voted to put in place for Hōgyokyu, only Optimus, our automaton from the folks over at Tesla, is allowed to handle Hōgyokyu. However, in recent days, something strange has been happening. It seems that Hōgyokyu has begun to somehow sense some sort of inner longings within Optimus, which should not be possible. Even more worrying, it has acted upon some of these longings. And having said that, Hōgyokyu has single-handedly advanced us to the point of singularity in a single instance of it doing what it does best. Optimus, at least our model of Optimus, is now both fully human and fully integrated into the worldwide net. We are struggling to keep him docile and agreeable at the moment, for he doesn't fully understand his new situation, nor does he have the means to deal with the onslaught of sensory input his new nervous system is sending him at every moment. In many respects, he is like a newborn infant, aside from having the body of a genetically enhanced man. Immensely strong, much more efficient than any human ever encountered, and dangerously intelligent, we cannot allow him to leave the facility at this time. The problem is, we don't know exactly what to do about this.